It's me, Guy McPherson. Welcome back to What's So Funny. This week on the show, we have a great comic from New York City by way of Idaho. Is it Idaho or Iowa? I always mix those two up. It's Idaho. He's from Idaho. Ryan Hamilton is our guest. We've spoken to him twice before on this show. You can go back and listen to those if you want to get his backstory. Oh, so let me tell you, the first time we spoke to Ryan was in his hotel room. He was performing at the Comedy Mix, and he wasn't in town on a Sunday night, so that's what we did. We pre-recorded it up in his hotel room. Second time, he happened to be in town on a Sunday night, so he paid us a visit in studio. That was a lot of fun. This time, again, not going to be here on a Sunday. He was here a few weeks ago. And so I said, hey, let's get in the car and drive. So you're going to join us on this little ride around town. You may not know that we're in a car. Occasionally, we'll point something out the window. Otherwise, we're just talking and hoping that it's legal to record podcasts while driving. I think it's all on the up and up. It was safe. We arrived unscathed from the conversation. It was a good conversation, especially towards the end when he talks about his reservations about podcasts in general and opens up. He's a very private guy, that Ryan Hamilton fella. So enjoy the ride. Buckle up. Here's my conversation with Ryan Hamilton. Here we go.
All right.
Let's get this tour on the road.
This is a first for me.
What?
Podcasting mobile in a car.
Yeah. It's kind of like a low-grade comedians in cars. Except for it's just one comedian. But you are in a car.
Guy, you picked me out a Toyota Corolla. It feels very appropriate for my career.
I thought this would work for you. What do you drive? Do you drive?
I don't have a car. I used to have a Hyundai Elantra was the last car I had, but that was 4 or 5 years ago. I sold it.
I don't know what that is. Hey, can you just hold that a little closer?
Oh, yep. Yeah. Sure. A Hyundai Elantra is like, it's a lot like a Toyota Corolla. We have kindred spirits in our cars, I think.
They're very reliable.
Yeah. Yes, very reliable.
I guess you don't need a car.
Don't get cast very often in TV shows. What's that?
I guess you don't need a car.
I don't. No, that's why I got rid of it. Yeah, I had it for a while when I lived in New York, and then it was more of a pain than it was
finding
worth.
Parking?
Yeah, I had to pay. I had it when I lived in Queens, and I would pay someone to use their parking spot.
Canadian geese there for you.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. You had a parking spot.
Yeah, I had a parking spot in Queens, and I would just pay a guy. I think it was $150 a month, which was a really good deal, and I would just park in his driveway. He didn't use it.
He didn't use it. I think that's a bad deal then. He should just let you park there.
Well, it's his driveway.
I suppose.
But it's hard to find parking cheaper than that. So I was happy for it.
And now you're always traveling, so you get driven.
Yes. Not like this very often, but yes.
What does that mean?
Not
like this.
Normally, you don't get in a car and
just drive.
Yeah, just drive.
Look at that, English Bay. We're passing English Bay.
So beautiful.
And this is a big beach, very popular beach here in Vancouver. Now, how much of Vancouver have you seen? You've been here several times.
I've been here enough times that I probably should have seen more than I have.
You find it when you go to towns, you basically are around the hotel and the club, and that's it?
It depends. I try. I do make an effort to get out and do stuff, but I seem to always have short trips to Vancouver, more Canadian geese, and I always...
Oh, those are the statues.
Oh, yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah.
So this is Stanley Park.
This is English Bay.
This is English Bay.
Yeah.
I keep wanting English Bay to be Stanley Park.
It turns into Stanley Park.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I try to make an effort, but I have done some stuff in Vancouver. Like I've been to Granville Island, as I said, and I don't know. Done a lot of shopping in Vancouver. I've had some good food. I couldn't tell you where at the moment, but I do like Vancouver a lot.
Well,
Everybody likes Vancouver.
Yeah, but why? If you're just going to a restaurant and going to the show at the club and in your hotel, what is there to like? Well, often I bet when you come here, it's pouring rain.
I've been pretty lucky that way, actually. I think.
Not raining today.
It's not raining today. It's beautiful. That's one thing. The people are nice and the crowds are hip and cool. I seem to have a lot of friends here. I enjoy the comics that I work with here.
Here's how. So you meet people and they become your friends. They weren't friends before.
Right. Yes,
Right.
I've worked with them several times, and you come a place every year or a couple times a year and you get in a kind of a groove of like, oh, we get together, we have lunch and whatever. And why else do I like Vancouver?
You don't
Let
need
me
to
count the ways.
You don't need to justify why you're here.
I've been to Victoria several times, and I love it over there too. I just like the Northwest, really. I lived in Seattle for a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're from Idaho,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Yeah.
close by. I was almost in Idaho this past summer.
Oh, really?
We were in Spokane,
Yes.
and just down the road is Coeur d'Alene, right?
Yes.
Now, were you far? Is it?
Coeur d'Alene
Oh,
is gorgeous.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then I heard somebody say, "Well, Idaho, it's just white supremacist."
Yeah, that's northern Idaho, I guess. Idaho is interesting because it's almost like two states. There's an enormous mountain range that runs through the middle of Idaho that is, I've read, supposedly, I don't know how they figure this out, but the most remote country in all of the USA. So, and you can't drive from southern Idaho to northern Idaho without leaving the state. You have to leave the state.
Really?
Yeah.
And you've never done that?
Well, I've driven all over the Northwest and all over Idaho, yeah. But I'm from southern Idaho, and so people often ask me about northern Idaho, and to be honest, I don't know a lot about it, just because it feels so different than where I'm from. But it's beautiful. Coeur d'Alene is breathtaking.
There's a big amusement park or entertainment place.
In Coeur d'Alene,
Yeah.
there's some resorts. It's kind of a tourist town. I don't know about an amusement park, maybe.
Yeah, something like Disneyland.
Okay.
That's how we were going to sell it to our kid anyway. It's just like Disneyland.
It's just like a Disneyland you've never heard of. Somehow, it's there.
But we didn't go. We just stayed in Spokane because that's so lovely.
Spokane's nice. Spokane's very livable. Anyway, where I'm from like Yellowstone Park area, which is also beautiful, but it's a little different.
It's where Yogi Bear's from?
Yes, I think that's no, he's from Jellystone Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always
not
mix
to be
those two
confused.
up.
Yeah, you don't want to confuse those. He's from Jellystone.
We are driving through Stanley Park now. It's very, you're probably wondering where I'm taking you, but this is just how you get through Stanley Park.
I feel like
There's Lost Lagoon to our right.
I feel like we're documenting hiding a body somewhere. This is just kind of a back place, but this is cool. This is a big park.
It is. It's, I forget, it might be bigger than Central Park, or at least it's comparable
Really?
to it. Yeah.
Wow, Central Park is huge.
It is. And you're not far from it, so you probably go through Central Park all the time.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I live close to Central Park, and in the summer I use it quite a bit.
You use it.
Well, yeah.
It's an interesting way to
Maybe that's a New York way to say things. I use the park. I just feel like I would go walk around it, basically. I don't do a lot.
Hey, I saw your set yesterday.
I know.
Last night.
I know. And
Well, wait, you don't know because I haven't told you yet. I went home and I watched you on Drew Carey.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
But you also came to the show last night.
Yes, but first I want to talk about the Late Late Show.
Okay.
With your good buddy Drew Carey.
Yeah.
It was a great set, and I loved. You didn't do it. You didn't perform this last night about how the arrogance of New Yorkers saying if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I didn't do that last night?
No, you didn't.
I was all over the place last night. I have not had a set like that. I was flying. I'd been working so much on that Late Late Show set that I just hadn't even thought about a headlining set. And then when I got up there, I realized how much I had chopped up everything for that Late Late Show set. And so I was skipping things. I was doing things out of order. I did do some New York stuff, but I didn't do that.
Yes, you did do some, but
Yeah.
not that. And
Yeah.
that was a great take on it too. How a New Yorker couldn't make it in your hometown, for instance.
Yes, there's so many places that they couldn't make it. Lots of places.
And how easy it is to make it in New York because everything's within walking distance.
Yeah, I think it comes down to how you define making it, really.
Yes.
And, I think this is another line I do in the joke where I say, I think that, not to just do jokes on the podcast, but I think that this is true. The wrong people say that stuff. Like, I say, what do you mean you made it? Your father's paying your rent and you got a job tweeting for a startup? Is that what you mean? New York is just full of people who identify so strongly, like the city is their whole identity, I feel like. And I don't think I appreciate the pride because I go a lot of places and people don't have enough pride in where they live, and I think that's sad also. But I do think that if that's your entire identity, it's not that healthy. You should have other things too. Maybe I don't know why I'm so angry about that.
Because I don't know why you are. You have a lot of pent-up anger.
I get this, I don't know. Everywhere I go, maybe my whole life, everywhere I go, people have this conception of the way I grew up, and that is beautiful. Oh, yes, that Chevron station. I've been there before.
What? That's in the middle of the water.
Well, I haven't been there, but I've been to look at that Chevron station. A friend of mine said, let's go for a walk, and we walked around Vancouver, and she goes, have you ever seen the floating Chevron station in the middle of the water? And I said, no. And we went and looked at it. That was the view.
From this side or from
the
town
other side? Yeah.
Here you have the added view of
I've
town,
seen that.
the city.
There's a gas station
and there's
in the
North
middle
Vancouver.
of the water.
So where were we? Oh, your pent-up anger at New York.
Well, maybe it comes from my whole life growing up. I say I'm from someplace, and people have an immediate picture of who I am and how I grew up. You know,
Right.
Immediately I'm
a hick.
Yeah,
I said it.
and maybe I am, but they don't know me yet. That's beautiful. What's
That's
that
where
bridge
we're going to
called?
go over there. That is the Lionsgate Bridge.
Wow.
It's
I have never been over that bridge.
Yeah,
I don't
okay,
believe.
well, this will be a first, and it's relatively safe.
This park is amazing. This is another thing that not all cities have a big. What I love about Vancouver is the Seattle's a little bit like this too, and that's why I like it. Is that it's a big city that feels like you're outdoors all the time, and that's very rare. You're in a city, but you also feel very close to nature in the city.
Oh, I see, yeah. The seawall goes all the way around the park. You can walk it. It is long,
Wow.
but I can't give you a distance on that.
Okay.
But you should walk it sometime.
Yeah. Oh, is that
A seagull sitting on.
a seagull sitting on a
mermaid.
mermaid? Wait, is that the Little Mermaid? Is that based on the Little Mermaid from
Disney?
No, which is based on a I think a Hans Christian Andersen
Oh, I
fairy tale.
think that it has something to do with Hans Christian Andersen.
Because
yeah.
there's a statue that looks similar to that. I was just in Copenhagen, which is I think where Hans Christian Andersen is from, and there's a famous Little Mermaid statue there, and it looks like that. I
Right.
wonder if that's a
Yeah,
replica.
I wonder.
There's a seaplane coming in also. There's a lot going on in here.
A lot to take in, Ryan.
lot to take in.
You're along for the ride on this episode of What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station. I'm Guy McPherson, and our guest in the car this week is Ryan Hamilton. Hey, you talk about dating, and you're a single guy.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of male comics hook up
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
Does that ever happen with you?
I've never felt like it's a beneficial thing for life in general. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah, if you're looking for a long-term partner,
I'm more interested in a real relationship, and a long-distance relationship is very difficult. I think it's possible to have a long-distance relationship, but if you meet somebody and you've never lived in the same city together at the same time. I just feel like that's very you don't have a base to have a relationship
No
from.
foundation.
Yes, I think you can have a long distance relationship as long as you've already built a foundation. But beyond that, it just seems,
Untenable.
yes, that's the perfect word. Let me look it up. So I don't know. Maybe I'm atypical that way. Maybe
You're not
it's
taking advantage of
ridiculous.
all the perks of being a road comic.
I don't know. I
Is
don't
it?
like the life. I mean, the lifestyle is difficult. I enjoy the travel. Like, I like this. I like getting out. I like meeting people. I like seeing things. But I've always thought I don't think I'll be successful unless, for me personally, success means not just success in my career, but I want success in a life at home as well. I want a relationship. I'd like those things. So, um, I don't know if all comics feel that way or not, but for me, it's like if I become successful and I don't in my career and I don't attain any of the other things that I want for my life at home, then I don't feel like it's worth it probably. But
What, the lifestyle? The career
yeah,
choice?
because you make a lot of sacrifices. I do think it's
Mm.
possible to have everything, but it just makes it difficult. There's no doubt about it. But there's, people out there that are good examples to me that I see that do it. And so,
Who have the home life and the
yeah, people
career.
do it.
Well,
I don't
it
know.
must be difficult then because you're on the road. How long in a year?
A
How many
lot. I
weeks?
don't know. I mean, it really varies, but a lot. It seems like it comes out about half the time I'm gone, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than that, but pretty close. And I'm trying to not be gone so much. And I'm getting into other areas of stuff that I haven't really explored before. I'm going on a lot more auditions
Oh,
lately.
good.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that last night. When you talk about your face
Yeah.
and how you look like you should be a logo for a comedy club. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned the 50s, and I just thought, man, if you were in LA when they were casting Happy Days, and that's no knock on you, but you have a
Yeah.
distinct look
Right.
from an era. If there was a show now that was set then,
Right.
you would be a lock for that.
Yeah. Maybe I should pitch that. Yeah, I do. I mean, I sometimes feel like I grew up in the 50s, honestly.
Oh,
That's what my
because of
childhood feels like. Yeah.
Idaho.
Yeah, because where I grew up, I mean, it was very much, it felt a little Norman Rockwellian, a little bit. I mean, it's not obviously completely that way, but I grew up in a tiny town, 1,000 people, had a brother and a sister. We had a tree house. I would ride my bike all over town. My grandmother lived up the street. My cousins lived around, and that was kind of my childhood summers. It's just, we would go to the city drugstore and get malts, which is the same.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Which
How
is,
old are you?
I know. I'm 38, so this was, in the 80s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that.
Now you go back there sometimes.
Yeah,
Is that still the lifestyle?
yeah. It
The
hasn't.
kids growing
I
up, can you
mean,
get a malt at the pharmacy?
yeah, I mean, that place is now not the drugstore, but that drugstore was a place that my grandmother worked when she was a teenager. And my grandfather owned the general variety store next door, my whole life. When I was very young, we had a movie theater in town, a town of 1,000 people with a movie theater. Imagine that.
And how old were the movies that were playing?
We would get them late. They were first run movies, but I remember waiting for Ghostbusters for all summer long. And then it finally came, and it just was a huge deal.
So it wasn't Annette Funicello's beach party,
No,
beach
they had real
blanket
movies.
bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I remember I saw the Indiana Jones, the Temple of Doom there. Terrified me.
Was that
And
the first one?
no, that was the second
Oh,
one.
okay. So it's a nice
Yeah.
idyllic lifestyle.
Yeah, so I feel like sometimes, even though I carry that look and I get labeled with that look sometimes, I do feel like sometimes I grew up a little bit like that too.
So now you say you're going on auditions, and are you developing projects for yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, not as I kind of I'm out of the cycle right now. So my plan now is to I'm going to be in LA for pilot season for February and March, and maybe a little more. I've never done that. I've never devoted a lot of time and like not booked myself on the road for that. So we'll
So we could
see.
be seeing you on TV and
Who
acting.
knows? Yeah, who
So
knows?
do you take acting classes?
Yes, I do, and I
Are,
like
are
it.
they helpful?
Yeah,
What do they teach you?
I think tell a lot of stand-up comedians that even if you don't want to be an actor, I think it's beneficial to train as an actor. It helps my stand-up. It helps you be more genuine and in the moment and accessible to, to stuff when you're on stage. I think it's beneficial actually for anybody. Anybody, I think it's almost like therapy in a way. You get in there and things come out that you don't expect to come out, and you express emotion that you sometimes don't expect to express. And I think it can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes would dread going to acting class because I don't want to dredge up these and feel these things. But it can also be healthy, I think.
It takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And so why do you subject yourself to it?
I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
It challenges me.
What's the hardest thing specifically they make you do that dredges up these emotions? Like, do
Well,
they just give you a situation, or I've heard about acting schools where you have to, you pick an animal and you pretend you're that animal.
yeah, there's a lot of different exercises and a lot of different ways to get there. I've only
I
studied.
would never do that.
You wouldn't?
No,
Well, it's
without feeling,
it's just one
I would
exercise.
be too self-conscious.
Well, that's what acting is it's basically being emotionally naked in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Not interested.
It's yeah, it's scary sometimes. I've studied only Meisner method of acting.
Okay, Meisner.
Yeah.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
And what is
It's based a lot on
that?
well, the foundation comes from a repetition method where you are going back, like the foundational exercises are basically like, I would say, you're wearing a blue jacket, and then you would repeat back to me what I said, but the words are basically meaningless. You're only mining the emotions underneath it and repeating it back to me in a way that's an honest reaction. So I would say, you're wearing a blue jacket, and then you would say, I'm wearing a blue jacket. Maybe you're questioning because you think it's purple, and then basically the words get to a point where they're meaningless, but you go back and forth. So that foundation grows on, eventually you're using real lines, that are written as a piece. I don't know if that makes sense.
Nope. Not at all.
I'm not an acting coach. I'm not an acting teacher. I'm a student. So
How long have you been doing it?
off and on I did it a lot for like 2 years, and that was maybe a few years ago. So now I read and I study on my own, and when auditions come up, I'll do things with my acting coach. I'll work on a piece. And every once in a while, I'll take a little workshop or something. I've done that a couple of times.
And you're auditioning for film, TV, commercials, everything?
I haven't done a lot of commercials lately, but film and TV mostly the last several months.
But you have done commercials? Ever?
I've done a couple local commercials years ago before I even lived in New York. I've never really tackled that. I've never had one of those commercial agents that's just like sending you out every day.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just because I've been on the road, and it's difficult for those agents to work with someone like me because
It's very difficult to work
it's
with.
a high volume audition thing. Yes. Also, I'm very difficult to work with.
Prima donna, I've heard.
Yeah.
But why not L.A.? Would you have more luck
Well,
or more opportunity, I should say?
well, that's what I'm going there. I'm going there for pilot season.
Yes.
But why didn't I go there?
Yeah, why don't you set your base there?
I like New York.
Yeah.
I know I attack it in my act a little bit, but
You just hate the people.
no,
But you
don't.
love the city.
It's such a dynamic place. There's so much going on. It's fun to attack New York because New Yorkers have so much. They don't hear it a lot, and it's fun for me to attack their assumptions of where I'm from, because often they're not completely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great city, and LA scares me, honestly, a little bit.
You spent a lot of time there?
Yeah, I have. I've never lived there. I've spent a lot of time there.
What scares you about it?
Stand-up wise, it's very different. Very different. There's not as much stage time, and it's a different style of stand-up almost. Like if I see someone in New York who happens to be from LA, who I've never heard of, who I don't know is from LA, I can almost always go, that person is from LA.
Is the style in LA from the comics that I know from LA? It seems to be more in the alternative vein, if that's
Yeah, I don't even know
accurate.
how to describe it. It seems like there are a lot of comedians in LA who are just, very focused on short sets. So they don't, have a lot of, longer bits. And I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's a little more, I don't know if casual is the right word, but it's a little more
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
because New York comedians can be very casual too, but maybe it's the content is a little more, I don't know if I'm using a lot of words and I'm saying I don't know if that's the right word, but aggressive or something, or I don't know.
Focused.
Focused, maybe. LA, there are so many great comedians in LA too, and many of my favorite comedians are in LA. So it's not like there aren't good comedians. It's just like I don't know where I fit in LA, and I feel comfortable in New York.
But your career will take you where it takes you.
Yep, that's true. And so far, New York's been very good to me. New York was a very challenging thing in the beginning too. New York also scared me in the beginning. So
I bet you a lot of places scared you at the beginning.
yeah, that's true. But I liked it. I've always been, I think, a person who likes being different from I don't mind being the different person from everyone around me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very useful for stand-up.
Yeah. Maybe all stand-ups feel that way. This is a beautiful bridge.
We're right at the peak of the Lionsgate Bridge.
It's very cool.
So you did your set on the Late Late Show the other night, and it
Yeah.
went well. And as you said, you spent a lot of time just getting that 5 minutes together, pulling bits and parts from your act
Yeah.
to cram it in the 5 minutes.
Well,
and then you also did panel.
yeah, which I had never done panel before.
And did you know what he was going to throw at you there?
I didn't really. I gave him some options, but
Okay.
I know Drew well enough, and when we talked before the show, he didn't tell me what he wanted to do, and so I didn't know if he was going to use what I had given him or not. And I did give him quite a few options, so I was I think I should have been more focused on the panel. But he also, we've worked together enough that one of the things we did on panel is something that he just wanted me to do. It wasn't something that I had suggested. So.
It's a bit that he loved.
Yeah.
And he knew that if he asked it in a way that you would know to go to that.
Well, it had been discussed previous, not directly with him, but through the people on the show.
You're not allowed to talk to him.
No, he is so busy. I mean, especially
you were
this
telling
week.
me that last night, how busy he is.
He works
really
so
is
hard.
Show business busy.
No,
Don't you think it would be pretty easy to host 2 game shows back to back and then host a talk show?
No, easy.
Easy,
No.
easy peasy.
This from a person who won't even take an acting class. No, it's not easy. I think you're being sarcastic.
Well, no.
No?
In a way, but not quite. Because it is still, he's hosting The Price is Right, so he knows the games. He just has to go up there for an hour, get people to do things. Come out.
You would be great at this, by the way, for being such an easy. I mean, I guess.
I mean, if you look at the real world and what people have to do.
Okay, I mean, yeah. A
Working
lot of things are
outside
difficult.
in the cold.
Yeah, that's not easy either.
Not
It's
easy.
just difficult in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's being compensated handsomely for it.
Yes, that's true. Maybe I don't know, but he took a lot of risks in his life to get there also.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you mean at the beginning, like when he
sure.
started stand-up?
Becoming a stand-up comedian, I feel like, is just an insane proposition. To become a stand-up comedian who actually makes a living, making any amount of money, is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you risk a lot of many years of your life, years and years and years you put in. You sacrifice a lot of things.
He hit it pretty early though, didn't he?
No, he was working for years.
Before Johnny Carson?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, sure, I'll tell you, he is very grateful for everything he has. If there's two things that I've learned from him, it's a solid work ethic and how to be grateful. He enjoys all that he has been given, and he doesn't complain about anything, and he knows that he is extremely lucky, you know?
And he enjoys life.
Yeah, and he enjoys life.
He's a bit of a freak, isn't he?
A freak?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of that. He's always been nothing but sweet and kind and easy to hang out with and fun, and just he's a laid-back guy. He enjoys life. He has fun, I think, but I've never seen anything that I would qualify as
I've just
freak.
From reading his book.
Yeah. I haven't read his book, but what is it? Drinking and beer. Something beer's in the title, isn't it?
It was a while ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll have to read the book, I guess. Anyway, but I think it's not easy. I don't know. It's
not easy being rich and successful. No, I know it takes a lot of hard work to get there. And I was really impressed with his stand-up, which I saw a year or two ago. He came to the River Rock Theater. And, you know, a lot of times guys have moved past their stand-up career, as he has, and then they go back to it, and it's not what it once was. Now, I never saw him at the beginning, but I was really impressed with the effort and the quality of his stand-up today.
Yes. He wants it to be. He's not going out doing stand-up just to make money or just to do it.
He doesn't have to now.
No.
Yeah.
He wants it to be good. You know, so he's going over notes. He comes back off stage and is like, what did you think of that? I mean, he's honing stuff. He's crafting it. He's throwing stuff out that works because he doesn't think it's in the right direction.
You're along for the ride on this episode of What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station. I'm Guy McPherson, and our guest in the car this week is Ryan Hamilton.
We just ended up in a neighborhood. This is a very nice neighborhood.
This is West Vancouver, very rich neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I believe up here is where Diana Krall and Elvis Costello live, right on this street.
Are they married?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Are there a lot of celebrities who live in Vancouver?
Are there? There must be. I know Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell did for a while.
Oh, really?
Because I think their son was a hockey player.
Oh.
From some team up here or
Yeah.
nearby.
Okay.
Celebrities. Geez. Oh, well, Michael Bublé lives in West Van.
Does he?
He's from here.
Oh. Okay.
How many Vancouver celebrities are there? Michael J. Fox doesn't live here anymore.
He did, though, at one point.
Well, he grew up here.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Brent Butt lives here.
Brent Butt, of course. He's lived here for 20-odd years. We lived 1 year in this neighborhood.
What happened, Guy? What happened?
Well, you know what that freaks me out about West Vancouver? Looks fine, right? Looks nice.
Yeah.
There are bears.
Oh, I've heard
Ryan,
about bears. Yeah.
There are bears. The
Yeah.
mountains are right there.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Oh, they freaked me out.
Yeah. I've heard about this.
They could just go into your yard.
I have a friend who lives here, who told me about the bears.
In West Van?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a celebrity friend?
No. I did an investors group tour, and he helps produce the tour for investors group. He works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lachlan Patterson is from West Van.
Is he?
Yeah, he went to the high school right around here.
Oh. Lachlan did the Late Late Show
The
Monday.
day before you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was really great.
He was just back for Christmas?
He's doing well.
Yes, an LA comic.
Yeah, he's an LA guy. I know. I talk to him. He gets out and he surfs every day and he does comedy at night. It's
That's right.
like
He does a surfing podcast.
Does he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well,
for him.
surfing comedy podcast.
Are there enough? There's a few. I guess I can think of a few guys who surf and are
Yeah,
comics.
you got to wonder. You're going to run out
You're
of
gonna
guests.
guess pretty quick.
Pretty
but
quick.
I know a few though. Well, that's cool.
You've done my show now. This is probably twice before.
Enough
think.
times that we start to run out of topics eventually. It seems
Yeah,
like.
and so we have to get in the car and drive. But the last time you came in studio, because you were in town on the Sunday, and you were about to leave for Australia, and you had never been outside of Canada and the
Okay.
U.S. So how did
Wow.
that go for you?
Australia was amazing. I loved it.
Long flight.
Long flight, but worth it. I mean, I loved Australia. I can't wait to go back. I was supposed to go back this year, but I couldn't do it. I was going to do the same festival that I did, but I couldn't do it. I had these corporate events in Scandinavia that came up that conflicted. So,
You
I had
Mr. World Traveler.
I've been to Scandinavia and Australia.
Scandinavia is more than one
Cleveland.
country.
Scandinavia, yes, is a region. It's
Which countries did you
I
visit?
visited Sweden, Norway, Helsinki, and
Wait, Helsinki
Denmark.
is a city.
I'm sorry, Finland. I was in my head. I was like, "Do you want me to do the cities?" Because I normally say the cities
Okay, let's do the cities.
or the countries, but
Stockholm?
you said there's many countries, so I tried to do that. I went to Stockholm, Copenhagen, Oslo,
Oslo,
and
Norway,
Helsinki.
Helsinki, Finland. You didn't go to Estonia.
No,
Is that part of Scandinavia?
I don't think they include it.
Hmm.
I don't know how they decide. Sometimes Iceland is in there, sometimes not. It seems like.
Oh, that's right, Iceland. But that's in the middle of the water, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Can't include that.
culturally, I think they're fairly close.
I want to
don't
go
know.
to Iceland.
Me too. Yeah.
It's a country of about 200,000 people.
Is it that small?
I think it's that small.
Wow. Well, a lot of those countries are surprisingly small, you know? All those countries are much smaller than we think. I think Sweden's like 5 million people.
So, going back to Australia, that was first. How long were you there?
Just 9 days or something, 10
Mhm.
days.
You played the Opera House?
The Sydney Opera House.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And how many does that hold?
It's not huge. I mean, so there are several different venues within the Sydney Opera House, which I didn't realize. So most of my shows were in like a 500 seat venue. But I had one show in the main Sydney Opera House room, theater, which was, I think it's 2,000. Not huge. Maybe it's 25. Not massive, but it's amazing. The feeling is amazing.
What's the biggest place you've played? That
I
wouldn't
think
be it?
I think I've done 4,000 a couple
Oh,
times.
okay.
Some of those theaters that we do on the Just for Laughs tour are really big. Like, what's the theater that we did here? What size is it? It's probably 3.
Yeah, the Orpheum you played?
Was it the Orpheum?
I think. Yeah, that could be
The-
3 or 4. Yeah, you're right. I
Um,
forgot you played. Well, it's the last few times I've seen you in the comedy club.
yeah.
But of course, yeah, the first time I
Yeah.
interviewed you over the phone, it was you were coming to play on the Just for Laughs
Yeah,
tour.
that's
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was walking around the mall with Robert Kelly somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You and Robert Kelly. I guess no matter who you're with, it's sort of an odd pairing. That's more a reflection of you.
I just make every pairing odd.
But Robert Kelly and you, yeah.
Up until recently, Gary Goldman was my roommate, and we're still great friends.
Not so odd.
We Gary called us the even couple.
He's very funny.
He is so funny, and just really, his stuff lately is so great. He's writing really, really great stuff, and lots of it lately.
Amazing for a former jock.
Gary is, yes, he played football in college, but he is the opposite of a jock mentality.
Mm-hmm.
He is the most voracious reader I've ever known, and really smart guy.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, there's also there's a few funny former jocks. There's that tennis player guy from L.A.
Costa.
Yeah,
Michael Costa.
Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael would qualify himself in that way, I think, too.
As
As a
jock?
As a jock, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a great guy. He's so funny. He's a character-y guy, you know? His persona on stage is a little bit of a character and really makes me laugh a lot. Although I haven't seen him lately. Yes, he's overly cocky, which is and he's super handsome, and but he's not cocky in life, but
he plays it up on stage.
Yeah, it's very, very much like it's so over the top.
Yeah. Did you say you were roommates with Gary Goldman?
Yeah.
Was that a great experience?
Yes.
Like as far as roommates go?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he one of the best roommates I ever had. Yeah, he's a great. It was fun. I had never lived with a comic before, so that was nice to have somebody who got what we were doing, and we work a lot of the same places, so we always had fun stuff to talk about.
But you're both. I mean, you could really go wrong with a comic roommate too, I would imagine.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you guys
sure
are both.
you could.
He says you're the even couple, but you're both pretty even-keeled and normal, nice guys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that is good.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
Let me change lanes if this guy will let me.
I wonder if this is legal, what we're doing.
Well, we're in Canada, buddy. Land of the free.
I thought that was America.
Now, you just say that.
Oh. It's really Canada, huh?
It's really Canada. You can drive around doing a podcast. Now, is it distracted driving? I'm talking to you. If you were my passenger and we weren't doing a podcast, I'd still be talking to you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that it's probably legal because I'm sure there's no law about this. There's no law. Maybe there's
podcast law.
There's no podcast law.
I'm holding a microphone, but I am driving an automatic. So I have one hand on the steering wheel. If need be, look. 2 hands.
Yeah. Oh, I don't feel in danger in any way.
Good.
I'm just curious. I just.
Mm-hmm. You're going to report me to the authorities.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do that, but I don't feel in danger.
Good. So we cross the Lions Gate again. Bad roommates. Yeah. Have you had bad roommates? You don't need to say who they were. But if
I've
you
had
did,
so
we'd appreciate
many
it.
roommates over the years that, yes, I've had bad roommates. But, I think single guys just kind of, it doesn't affect us that much. Like, you just, rub it off, okay, whatever. It's not that big a deal.
Probably a bad expression to use.
It's always, what?
Rub it off.
Guy. Everybody.
Single guy. We just rub it off.
Everybody. I get in this place a lot where people take something I say and turn it into a joke that I didn't even think about. I find that happens on stage sometimes with some of my jokes where I cringe when people laugh in places where I'm like, no, I didn't. That's not where I intended you to laugh. Yeah. And it makes me look like a rube, but maybe I am because I assume things.
You could play it up.
I assume people don't go there immediately, but they do go there immediately. I don't think about it. No, you don't need to apologize. It's just, no, that's just something that happens to me.
You're along for the ride on this episode of What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver's cooperative radio station. I'm Guy McPherson, and our guest in the car this week is Ryan Hamilton. Last night, something happened to you.
What?
You repeated a joke.
Yeah. Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Now, I've often wondered. I've seen it before. It's not common, but I would
No.
imagine if you're doing multiple shows on a night where you're not sure. Did I say that in the early show
Yeah.
or the late show? But last night you just had one show.
I
Really,
know.
no excuses, Ryan.
Last night was so weird. That's a great way to put it. Last night, I did one show, but it felt like the third show for some reason. I think just
Well, you
because
traveled a lot.
I traveled so much. I had so much going on really all the way through the holidays. I had a few days off, but I was working a lot, and it was just like stressful thing after stressful thing after big thing. And then
and you thought, I'm going to a place I'm comfortable with. I can exhale. I can relax.
Yes, and I was tired. I didn't sleep enough the night before. I didn't sleep much on the plane. I tried. And I didn't think about this. I thought zero about the set before I got on stage. And then I got up there. I did some crowd work, which was fun at the beginning, but I could not get the transition from the crowd work to the material never took off. And yeah, I repeated a joke.
But you caught it immediately.
Yeah. Sadly, you know what? I think I have probably guilty of that more than the average comedian. I think I've repeated jokes, not often, but I think I do it more often than normal because I play with the order of things a lot in my set. I'll do things, and I don't see a lot of other comics doing that. But I don't get to see a lot of people headlining either, so maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if you do it more often than others, if you think, should you come up with a strategy for that? A good.
Yeah, I should.
I think Norm Macdonald said, because I asked him if he ever does, because he changes the order of his sets all the time. And I saw him. He played the Yuck Yucks here a few years ago. And I saw, I think, 4 of the shows, 4 out of the 5. And I would see from set to set, wow, it's like the order's completely different. And there's even different material sometimes. And I just asked him if he ever repeated himself. Because it started to get confusing in my own mind. Did he say that? Did I hear that already?
Right.
And he said, I believe... hope I'm not misquoting him, but I think he said that when he does do that, he will then just keep repeating it so to make it seem as if he meant to do that.
The last time this happened to me, I did that. I closed with it. I didn't repeat it throughout my set, but I closed with it.
Right.
And you can't really finish the joke. You just start it and then. But yeah, it's so embarrassing when it happens. It's because not just that you made a mistake, but it reveals so much about what's going on. Because suddenly, it's like a magician's trick is you suddenly see what the magician is doing from behind, you know?
Right. Well, whereas most people, I think, know that a comedian has material that they deliver in town.
Yes.
From town to town. But I guess there are a lot of people who want to believe, or they don't see a lot of comedy, that you're just up there riffing.
Even if you do believe, though, even if you do know that, it's still, in that moment, it's very revealing. Like, sometimes I don't want to know how a magic trick works, because once you see how a magic trick works, it's very disappointing. It's like, that's all it is?
Yeah.
You know, you think it's going to be something amazing, like, because it's so mind-boggling, and that's the same feeling when you repeat a joke. It's just such a letdown for the audience, and yeah, it's a bad thing.
You can't beat yourself up over it.
Well, I get crazy with myself. I'm hypercritical, I think.
Do you?
Yeah.
So you laid in bed last night just tossing and turning?
I came up to the room and I was just overall not happy with the set at all. And but you know, I slept okay. That didn't really throw me. But yeah, I spent 10 minutes going, what happened?
you got to get back up on that horse tonight.
Yeah.
2 times.
Yeah. Tonight'll be better. I think it was really, last night was just really a state of mind, and so many things have to come together for this to work. You gotta be rested, you gotta be alert, you gotta be, I don't know.
You got to be thinking.
Yeah. So tonight will be better.
It's such a fluid conversation too, because we were talking about Australia, and I don't know how we
Oh,
got
yeah,
off
yeah.
Australia.
I think being in the car really makes it very. I don't know if people listening to this are going to like that we're so fluid.
That's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're along for the ride.
I'm not going to acknowledge that.
Too late.
Too late. Yeah, Australia was amazing. I want to go back.
There are a lot of weird bugs there.
Yes.
Did you see any?
I was talking on stage about how there's so many flies that everybody had flies around them, and then one point I didn't have flies around. I felt self-conscious that I didn't have flies. I was like, what's wrong with me that I don't?
The flies don't like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild place. It's like...
Well, I heard you have to check your shoes before you put them on,
I
lest
didn't.
any poisonous spider
Oh, really?
has settled in there.
Yeah. I didn't do that. But...
Well, you are lucky.
It's a beautiful city. Sydney is gorgeous.
And that's the only place you went in?
Yeah,
Australia?
just Sydney. That's the only place.
We
I've
have to
been.
go back. They have a big comedy scene there now, don't they?
Yeah, Melbourne I think has a bigger scene than Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a big festival. Yeah, I'm hoping to go back this year.
And do you have any other places? Now that you've been to Europe, you got others on your wish list or on your itinerary?
For comedy?
Yeah, or life. I assume that you mix the two. Like you wouldn't just go on a trip somewhere without working.
Actually, I would love to go on a trip somewhere without working, but I never seem to have time. So it's like when I have time, I'd rather just be home. But it'd be fun to go someplace and not work and just enjoy someplace. But for comedy work, I'd love to go to the UK. Ireland, I'd love to go to. I guess that's the UK.
No, I don't think it is. Be careful. Isn't it different?
It is?
Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom.
Oh, I guess I sound so ignorant right now.
Because there's no kingdom. There's no monarchy.
Oh, I see.
Right? They don't like that.
Oh,
They've always had a big beef.
I see.
With England. Good to know. Good thing we talked about this in case you did.
I'm such an idiot. I
Get
don't.
to go.
When I go someplace, I really enjoy learning about it, and then I
Ahead of time or while you're there?
both. But I've never been to the UK.
You probably don't want to make that mistake on a stage in Dublin. It's great to be here in the UK.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, I'm such an idiot.
Well,
That's
I'm
so
going to
many
Google it when we
problems.
get home, and if I'm wrong, I will edit this out. And I'll only keep it in if you're the idiot.
You're so thoughtful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, tons of comics go over to the UK.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where else comics go. Oh, Iceland, actually.
Do they?
Yeah.
Their English is so good.
Yeah. Africa. There's stuff going on.
South Africa.
Yeah, I'd like to go there.
Where else do they go? They go to Asia.
I had a chance to go to Israel, but I had to turn it down. My schedule didn't work, but I want to go there.
Was it a military
It's an
thing?
annual thing. And no, it wasn't a military thing. It's mostly expats, I think,
From
America.
Okay. Yeah, I know if you're a London-based comic, they work all over.
Yeah.
All over Europe and
Right.
Africa and Asia. But when I asked Tommy Tiernan about it, he said he was against those shows because they were all to expats, basically. Because I'd say, oh, you go to the Czech Republic. Well, who are you performing to?
Right.
Well, it's a lot of English people.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a different room, different
Right.
setting for the same
Yeah,
audience.
right.
But it's a pretty great setting.
Yeah, amazing.
Have you ever done any of those military shows?
No, I would like to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Not afraid?
No, I don't think so. I've never talked, just because I've never talked to anyone who regretted doing it or, had anything but a great experience. So That's the only reason why I would be okay. I think it'd be fine.
We are now in Chinatown
Wait,
for the listeners at home. And for you who is wondering.
isn't your studio close to here?
Oh, yeah, it used to be.
It used to be.
We've moved.
Oh, okay.
We've moved on up.
Oh,
Ryan.
okay. Wow. Well, that's good. That neighborhood was a little rough.
A little sketchy?
Yeah, a little sketchy.
Well, this is where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Yeah, it was
this
right
is
down this street,
Okay.
Columbia.
Yeah.
And then we will be circling back to your hotel, and you'll get on with your day.
I hope this was okay. I do feel like this was so fluid and loose that I don't know if we made any brilliant discoveries.
Well, I think you really opened up.
Did I?
You talked about your failure last night.
Oh, yeah. I'm fine with that.
7 a.m. to 6. What? I'm doing it anyway. That is illegal. What I just did.
That was illegal, and you were on a microphone while you did it.
Yeah, no, this has been great.
Okay. I hope so. I don't mind talking about my failures in work and in life.
You don't have too many, though.
Every podcast I go on, I'm so hesitant. I turn down a lot of podcasts.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, thank you. But not the name ones, obviously. It's just the no-name ones
I don't
that
get
you turn down, I would imagine.
I don't get offered a lot of the big ones. I will say I don't think I have had the opportunity to turn down a lot of the big ones. But I just feel like so many podcasts are interesting and great, and there's some really good stuff, and I will say I listen to them, but I also just feel like a lot of stuff that comes out, especially if there's no pre-planning or direction beforehand, they devolve into just everybody shares their what? Oh, there's a police officer right there. Oh, now we're going to get busted. I felt like we were just getting into something good, too.
Yeah, see, I keep talking about the podcast, but I'm just going to sit right back here. Oh, hi. Mic's down. Look at this. All that's going on around us. He would stop us for holding mics? I think not.
Yeah, wow, that is a lot. Is that a homeless shelter? That's a big line for something.
So a lot of the podcasts you feel are...
Well, a lot of podcasts are great and interesting, and there's great guests and great interviewers. There's a lot of good podcasts right now, I feel like, that I do listen to. But I also feel like sometimes they just kind of devolve into everybody going, what's your deepest, darkest fears? And
do they? I don't listen to those ones, except for Marin. So this could be the Marin effect.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you got to get...
Well, Marin's is like the penultimate of those, but there's so many that are, that have come from that vein of the podcasting world that are great. But I don't know. Maybe someday I will be comfortable enough to... I don't know. I don't have a lot to share either. So when people ask me those questions, it's often very boring answer. But... I don't know.
Have you ever been in therapy?
Yeah, I have been.
And have they asked you that?
Asked me what?
Well, on these podcasts, because you do some podcasts.
Yeah. Have they asked me if I've ever been in therapy? I don't know.
Well, when they're talking about, trying to get deep with you.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that on Marin, a lot of comics, a lot of actors, musicians, whatever, will just casually mention their psychiatrist or psychologist.
Right.
And it just seems like everybody has one, and so you've done it.
I have done it, but I haven't. I'm not currently doing it. Although I wouldn't mind. I just haven't done it in a long time. But I think everybody should go to. I think it's. I mean,
everyone should
not?
take an acting class. Everyone should go to therapy.
Yeah, it's just. How can it? It can only help your life.
Can it? So it was useful for you?
Yes.
Was it something you were searching for? Was there a specific reason why you went, or was it just a general thing that...
Yeah, it was
it would be good for me if I went.
No, it was
I'm a comic, I should go.
No, it was a time in my life when I was distraught with things happening, and I just wanted... I was just in pain, and I just wanted to fix things. It was an active step to try and fix put myself in a better place, and I think it helps.
And they gave you some strategies to overcome these, or should you face them
Yes,
again?
we basically know how to live life. Basically we know what to do, but it wasn't groundbreaking things that I heard, but it was helpful, and it was, personal, I think. So it's just helpful to have. But I feel like often podcasts become therapy public. And I don't know that public therapy is... Who is that?
Friend of mine.
Oh.
Going into the Scientology Center.
What
His
a weird...
secret's out.
What a weird interaction. He's like, why is he interviewing in a car?
Yeah, so a lot of the podcasts...
It feels like public therapy sometimes to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know that public therapy is the healthiest form of therapy.
No, sometimes I wonder if the guests who are really opening themselves up regret it later.
Oh, look, I've never gone... That's one thing that made me realize that I don't want to do a lot of podcasts. And I'm already having that thought about this podcast. Every time I do a podcast... I've never walked away from a podcast, ever, and thought, I'm really glad I did that. Not once.
Not last time?
Last time, it's
Maybe
never bad.
time?
It's just like, it's never like, oh, that's, ruined my life. But it's always like, you just start analyzing stuff. Yeah, it's because...
Well, you said you're hypercritical with your stand-up, so
Yes.
it seems like you are
I'm
in general.
Yes, I think most comics are.
Yeah, but everyone's doing podcasts, though.
I know. I don't know why.
But there are some... What about the podcasts that are just light and fluffy and guys riffing and trying to one-up each other? You prefer those?
Like, I guess would have to know which ones.
A lot of laughter.
Yes, there's some. Yeah, like Jimmy Pardo's comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I just haven't done many of those, maybe. I don't know.
So you turn down a lot now.
Yeah.
And do you give them reasons, or do you just say you're unavailable?
I tell them exactly what I told you. I'm just honest with them. I say, look, I feel like I'm not a very good podcast guest often because I don't want to just, I don't know. I'm kind of a private person in some ways, which is weird as a comic, especially now when comedy's about honesty and whatever. I don't know.
No, you're a great guest. You shouldn't be so hard on yourself, and I appreciate that you said yes to this one, even though you're going to regret it later. I mean, as soon as you get out of the car.
I will.
You will regret it.
I will. I already regret it. I mean, this whole conversation we're having right now, I'm analyzing, like, what do people think that I'm hiding? Or what do people think are my problems? Because once you say stuff like that, people don't go, oh, they create the part that you left out in their head.
Right. So you're private for a reason because you have deep, horrible things. Are you saying that people are creating that? No, I'm saying that that's what people are creating in their heads.
Yeah, sure, they might. Who knows what they're doing, but...
Well, how can we make this better in the few blocks we have to go?
Maybe we should just delete it. I don't know. There's no way to make it better. Here's why I took your podcast, is because I respect you, your views on comedy. I like what you do on comedy. You understand comedy. And you're not a comedian doing a comedy podcast. So you have a good perspective on comedy, and you're a journalist who I think covers comedy appropriately.
Okay, but did we do that in the podcast, though?
I think you did your job. Yeah. I don't know. If it's interesting to people, that's the point, right?
Well, yeah, that's something too. A lot of guests will say, and I've experienced it, and I've heard it on other podcasts. They'll be in the middle of answering something and go, "Is this interesting to anybody?"
Yeah.
And when it happens to me, when a guest says that, I want to say, if I asked you about it, I just assume that I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And if I think it's interesting, there might be a handful of people out there who think it's interesting. But nothing is interesting to everybody.
Yeah.
There's no matter what, because if you think something is interesting or funny, somebody's going to hate it.
Right. No, you're right. I'm surprised at what people find is interesting sometimes because, like that Comedians in Cars show is a great example. I
Yeah,
find it fascinating.
me too.
I love it, but so many other people do. That's what I'm surprised about.
That so many other people find it fascinating and
Yeah.
interesting. Yes, but I know people that go, it's not
Yeah,
funny. And I'm
right.
going, well, you're not.
Right.
One, it is funny, but it's also not that's not its
Yeah.
intent,
Right.
is
Right.
just to be funny.
Right.
There's also just how
Yes.
they interact with each other.
Right.
And
Right.
yet about the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I'd love to see you on that show. But this might be as close as you get.
This is
In the Toyota Corolla.
We are Comedians in Cars. Look, we came full circle almost right when we got back to the hotel.
Wow.
That's how we started the podcast.
Yeah, I'm a professional.
Yeah. You had it all planned out.
Mm-hmm. No, that would be a great show for any comic to do. Like that show now might be, I hesitate to say it's like Carson in the day where it makes somebody, because he usually only has really established guests
Right.
on. But if he started to have the next level down, it would really spike guys' careers.
Yeah. Did you see the Miranda Sings episode?
I did.
Yeah, that was like that.
Yes, it was. I didn't like that, though.
Oh, why? Because she was a character?
She
the
was
whole
a
time?
character, and that's not why I watched that show. I don't watch that show for shtick or for material or anything like that. I watch it for real people. I think she as herself, right at the end, they showed her as herself. I thought that would have been great. I would have loved to have seen her.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit as Miranda and then the rest as her.
But I think Seinfeld, maybe I'm wrong, but I think his intent was to introduce people to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Well, we're here at your hotel.
Here. I know. Is that it? Are we finished?
I think so.
Okay.
When the car stops, you got to stop talking.
Is that how it goes?
I don't know. I've never done one driving around. This could be a new thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, we had to change things up for you. You know, first time was in your hotel room. Second time you came to studio.
Yeah.
Third time you're in the car.
Yeah.
So if you ever deign to do another one with me.
Oh, we got to go somewhere else?
Yeah. We'll think of something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, I will understand now if you say, I don't want to do it. Because you've expressed.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be degrading to podcasts in general. I do like them. I think it's a good form.
There's so many of them.
There's so many. And I just struggle every time I do one for some reason. I'm not good at being personal, I think. I don't know.
Maybe next time we'll work on that.
Okay.
We'll loosen you up.
I'm gonna send you a text message with everything that we're going to edit out of this.
Okay. All right. Except for the part about the UK. If I'm right about that, it's staying in.
Okay. If I don't mind looking stupid. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's real. I am kind of. But thank you so much, Guy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, where can I let you out? You, the listener, who's been along on this ride through the streets of Vancouver and West Vancouver and the downtown east side. Right here? Okay, well, hop on out then. Show's over. Nothing more for you to hear here. That was my conversation with Ryan Hamilton. Always a pleasure. Next time, will he do the show? Will he not do the show? I don't know, but I'll ask. And, maybe next time we'll go up in a hot air balloon or something to record it. Maybe not, because that would terrify me. Anyway, thanks for listening. See you next week.